Good evening, and thank you for coming. Tonight we're going to talk about hermit crabs and why they're dying painful, premature deaths in our care. I'm going to explain why this is happening and some simple steps that can be taken to prevent the premature death of these fascinating and affectionate creatures. What you're going to get tonight is an overview of what is needed for them to survive and have a long and healthy life. Why is this happening with hermit crabs today? This is a good reason right here. The Hermit Crab Starter Kit, sold in pet stores for $29.95, contains a plastic container, sand, a couple of dishes for water and some food, and maybe a little enclosure for them to go into. This is not the type of environment that hermit crabs live in the wild, and they cannot survive very long in this type of habitat. What it takes for a hermit crab to live a healthy life is an environment like this. A completely enclosed ecosystem. There are many species of hermit crabs, and they all make excellent pets. If you'd like to learn more about the different species, I suggest you go to livehermitcrabs.com. So what's needed inside a terrarium like this is fresh and salt water. Salt water is a must for their survival. They need deep, moist substrates. I suggest using coconut fiber, jungle bed, moss, especially terrarium moss and what is referred to as beaked moss, and some sand. I recommend Florida sand mixed with crushed shells and coral. Contrary to popular belief, hermit crabs do not spend all their time in the sand, so it is not a proper environment throughout the terrarium for them to live. And you need to mix up the environments. They live more in a jungle area most of their lives. They come out on the beaches at different times of the day. In order to maintain a healthy life, there's certain other things that are needed. I like to use waterfalls. Waterfalls create moisture, and hermit crabs need about 80% moisture, but not in a soaked environment. They need a saltwater pool. This is critical to their survival, something that they do not tell you in pet stores. Hermit crabs molt like snakes. They have to be able to shed their skin, and without salt water, they cannot do that, and they cannot transfer into another shell. Hermit crabs also need things to climb on. They're excellent climbers. I use wood in my terrarium. I use grape wood, mopani wood from Africa, and cholla wood. I also like to keep coral in the terrarium. Coral, they like to climb on it, but it's also a good source of calcium, as they will eat the coral. Caves for them to hide in. This is a cave down here in front. They use the caves to molt. Sometimes they can be in this state for 4 or 5 weeks, sometimes longer. Second levels are important. Again, they like to climb. Sometimes they like to just get away from the other crabs. Obviously, some other keys for survival are foods. They need foods that are high in protein and high in vitamin content. And they need extra shells in order to survive as well. A good place for this would be thehermitpatch.com. And this is what's needed for them to live a happy and healthy life. If you follow the guidelines that I've laid out for you this evening, you can have hermit crabs like this one. This is Aphrodite. She's an Ecuadorian hermit crab, and she's quite happy in this habitat. There's 10 different crabs in here, and this is what it takes. I thank you for coming, and have a good night.